Hi, this is an informational video about the Cherokee tribe, starring three important members of the Cherokee Nation, John Ross being one of them, intentionally opposed removal of the Cherokee. He was also principal chief of the Cherokee. He had been elected chief president of Eastern Cherokee National Committee. Ross led those Cherokee in devising a constitution and a three-branch government. He was also in the Treaty Party.
You want to know something else about the Cherokee?
Sure.
John Ridge, he also signed the Treaty of New Echota in 1835. He was in the Treaty Party, and he viewed removal as the best way to survive. Elias Boudinot also viewed removal as the best way to survive. He was the nephew of Major Ridge, and in 1826 he began to raise funds for the nascent printing operations of the Cherokee Nation, also known as the Cherokee Phoenix. Feelings about the New Echota Treaty were still fresh, and 3 days after the council, Major Ridge, John Ridge, and Elias Boudinot were assassinated.
Fort Wayne is the farthest north post in Oklahoma. It was made by John Stewart in honor of Anthony Wayne. Originally known as Camp Illinois, the purpose of Fort Wayne was to protect a military road and to ease the fear of the Cherokees. It was made in 1838 and abandoned in 1842.
Stop!
Fort Gibson is just southwest of Tahlequah. It was established in 1824 by Matthew Arbuckle. It was originally called Cantonment Gibson in honor of Army General George Gibson. It was a refuge for Native Americans.
Indian Territory was a great buffer zone between the United States and Mexico. Some hardships that the Indians faced when they reached the Indian Territory was they were very destitute or poor. They also had broken promises. Promised tools, household goods, livestock, and food items and money were promised by the government but were never followed through on. Also, the food was usually and often rotten or unusable. There was also dishonest traders, whiskey, which got Indians drunk, in which they bought more and became penniless. They also had no shelter. Here are some three important facts about the Cherokee Nation. The first book published in Oklahoma was Poor Sarah by Elias Boudinot, and it was printed at the Park Hill Mission. Tahlequah was selected as tribal capital by the principal chief John Ross, and in the Eastern Cherokee arrived in Indian Territory in 1839. A group of Cherokee that was driven out of East Texas when they resisted relocation was with them too.
When Sequoyah made the syllabary for the Cherokee, they had literacy. The Cherokee developed a written constitution modeled after the U.S. Constitution and established a capital at New Echota, Georgia. The capital included a council house, Supreme Court building, and a building for a printing press in a public square. The Cherokee attempted to use the U.S. legal system to protect their land. Georgia, however, refused to recognize their sovereign status, and the U.S. Supreme Court sided with Georgia.
Public schools and academies, which were high schools similar to today's, were promoted in the Treaty of 1835. In 1834, Cherokee planned 2 public schools with a superintendent of education and teachers. 2 5-month schools had a $5,800 fund. By 1845, more than 400 boys and 250 girls were in the Cherokee schools. The American Board established the Dwight Mission in 1821. Park Hill Mission included a printing press, grist mills, shops, stables, farms, and dormitories. Peacekeeping mission is the activity of keeping the peace by military forces. The first newspaper was the Cherokee Advocate in 1844 in Tahlequah. The first editor was William P. Ross, nephew of John Ross. The weekly paper was printed in both English and Cherokee. James Wofford was the translator.
One interesting fact about the Cherokee is
The original tribe name of Cherokee is Aniudwia. The end.